Hello, and you're listening to the AI Moment podcast with me, Jonathan Wagstaffe.
And me, Danny Denhard.
And I think this week we're going to talk about some of the valuations that we've seen and the feeling that we're starting to see across the industry that there's an AI bubble going on, Dan. Is that right?
Yeah, it's true. We're recording as of the 1st of August, but we've seen a number of different reports coming out that we've hit a bubble, whether that's come from a valuation perspective or it's come from updates or the iterations that have been made more recently. So set up the conversation. Sam Altman had hosted a dinner end of last week and suggested that a number of VCs and private equity companies are going to be disappointed because we've already hit an AI bubble, suggesting that they probably wouldn't get an ROI and they wouldn't get all the returns that they're desperately seeking. And I think that's led to you and I having a discussion around whether it's true or not. So from my perspective and just how I've seen it, there's a real shift in the narrative around AGI or superintelligence or whatever we're going to be calling it, or whatever people are deciding to call it. And it's pushing companies to the limit, which means when they do their releases, they're already pushing really hard to get the features that will wow people as opposed to improve the product iteratively. We touched upon it a little bit in the ChatGPT 5 episode recently, but I do think it's important to call out that if we're going to be expecting these big bang releases, I think we're going to be setting ourselves up to fail a little bit from what we've seen, just some of the more iterations. We're going to expect some more huge rounds anyway. So we're going to expect mega rounds of investment. But I think what this does also highlight is Sam Altman is the master of using communication and certain environments to win and get his message out there, whether it's in a spat with Elon on Twitter, whether it's at a stage or on a conference, or whether it's hosting a dinner. He knows exactly how to use and manipulate the media, and also understands, as the former YC leader, he really understands how it all works. One little prediction I'm making is ROI in AI is going to be 2026. It's going to be a conversation that comes up more and more, and we'll see more closures of companies. We'll see more consolidation rounds, and we'll see more merger and acquisitions. But having said all of that, I do think most of the companies, barring Apple, Alphabet, Amazon, and Meta, can invest the money that they need to because they've got this advertising engine, whereas all these big AI companies just aren't making money at the moment. And although OpenAI said they had their first $1 billion month, all of that money has to go pumped back into infrastructure and chips and all of that. So it's going to be very costly and it's going to be a long process for them. For me, I think we are hitting something of what I would call more of a lull, in an AI lull as opposed to a bubble. But I do have the impression that until it becomes productized and product teams actively own some of the delivery side of it and they deliver products for consumers, we're not going to see as big a jumps as we have done over the last 6 to 9 months. What do you think, Jonathan?
Well, there's some fighting talk there, Dan. I'm liking some of your predictions. I think you're certainly right. If you're a journalist and you get invited to a little group dinner by Sam Altman, it's absolutely not because he thinks you look hungry. He's got something that he wants to plant in your mind, and that's very clearly happened. I did a LinkedIn about a month ago about the valuation of a company called Thinking Machines, which you might have seen. And this is a business launched in February of this year. And the founder is Mira Murati, who was, I think, CTO at OpenAI. She was senior at OpenAI for a while. She was highly involved in ChatGPT coming to market. But that business, it's done a seed round, which values the business at $10 billion already. They've shipped nothing. They've not really said a lot about what they're going to do. I mean, they've got a kind of mission statement, but it's not that specific. And yet a 4 or 5 month old business is valued at $10 billion, which is an insane valuation. I absolutely agree with you. We've got a massive bubble going on at the moment. And good luck. Maybe Thinking Machines is going to be a highly valuable company and there's some very good people in it, but $10 billion for a company that young just seems on the crazy side to me. What I think is going on is what's gone on throughout technology history. So many people listening to this will be aware of the Gartner hype cycle, which is this idea that you get a new technology very quickly. There's lots and lots of interest in it. It goes through a real bubble and then it crashes back down and we get this kind of disillusionment, and then you get this gradual climb over time. So then we get the real value out of the technology over time, and it reaches a point where we're really getting value from it. What that says is that we tend to overestimate in the short term what new technology will do for us and underestimate in the long term. And there's no doubt in my mind that's where AI, and you can then split AI out into various bits of it, but AI as a general thing, we're going through that hype bubble at the moment, and the valuations are crazy. And I would not say you're wrong if you say there'll be a consolidation, and some of the chickens will come home to roost with some of these companies. That all said, I still think we should be playing with it. We should be taking it seriously as a technology. We should be looking into it, but I would be very cautious if I was investing right now about who I invested in and where I put my money.
I've seen, just anecdotally through talking, I've been in a number of big groups with C-suite execs and talking to a number of different people within the same space as, people like you and I. And they're all saying the same thing. They're jumping between the tools now. So they're not necessarily picked one.
Yeah.
Or they're trying to understand the tools that they can best invest into over the long run. For instance, someone who I highly respect has moved his small organization, but mighty organization from ChatGPT-5 and OpenAI over to Gemini, because they have their email with them. They use documentation with them. They use a number of different tools. And Gemini is doing almost all of what ChatGPT and Claude does, but it just suits their billing cycle, and they can really invest their time wisely and smartly into their tool development. Another system of change I'm seeing is how many people have decided actually certain tools aren't worth the extra time and the automation time that they're putting in. So they're just most people are shifting from one to another, but are sticking with AI and have developed a lot into it. So for me, I agree. We're in a bubble, but I think people are slowly working out what's the best tool for their business and what's going to help them generate revenue, as opposed to just use AI for some productivity gains, which has its benefits. But for organizations, we're all striving for bigger money and bigger revenues.
Yeah, as we've discussed, I don't think I know we both get asked this question a lot, which is which one should I pick of the big tools? And the answer is that they're constantly leapfrogging each other. So, experiment with them, decide which one suits your cause better. They are all rapidly coming to a point where they're all good at everything they need to be good at. So whether you're a Claude fan or a Gemini fan or a ChatGPT fan, or try them yourself, work out which one suits you best, and then work with that. There's no right or wrong answer in terms of which one you should use.
And to add and to wrap up, I'd also say that with AI being out of a bubble, it doesn't mean these products aren't going to improve. And everyone is racing to the bottom, all racing to zero on fees, on token pricing, etc. So if anything, it's our game at the moment to win as opposed to our game to lose. So I would just say, in with tech companies and when you're talking with budgets, etc., we're in a good place.
Well, it's getting better every day, isn't it? As Ethan says, the AI used today is the worst it will ever be, and that continues to be true.
Exactly. Thanks very much, Jonathan, and I'll see you next time.
Good to see you, my friend. Take care. Bye-bye.